Support for Mission Nonprofit is provided by Thurston Talk.
This program is provided in the public interest by Thurston Community Media. More information at TCMedia.org.
Hi, I'm Robert Kim, and you're watching Mission Nonprofit. Each month, we connect with local organizations and agencies that are making a positive impact in our communities. We've invited Karen Schoessel and Wendy Fraser from North Thurston Kiwanis Club to talk about their work. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
And Wendy, could you tell us a little bit about the Kiwanis Club and the International Kiwanis Club and then the North Thurston chapter?
I'm happy to. So Kiwanis International began in 1915. So it is in 85 countries around the world and territories. It's one of the few organizations that sponsor people to be involved at multiple levels. So we have adults that are both in Kiwanis clubs, and we have action clubs, which are for adults with special abilities and disabilities. That's also at the adult level. We sponsor the college level, and we call that Circle K International. And then we have Key Club, and that's it again in about 30 countries around the world. It's the world's largest college and high school level service organizations, which is pretty exciting for us. We sponsor the middle school and then at the elementary school. So it's pretty exciting to be a part of an organization that focuses on youth all over the place. Our Kiwanis Club is 58 years old. It was sponsored here in the North Thurston part of the county in 1964. And we're just happy to be a part of this community and providing service.
Now, you were in one of the Circle K groups. Was it at St. Martin's? Is
Yes.
that where the Circle K?
Yes.
And can you tell us a little bit about your experience doing that as a college student, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, happy to. And actually, the story began as I was leaving high school. I was born and raised in Bremerton, and I earned a small scholarship from the Bremerton Kiwanis Club. I think it was like $300, but it made a difference, right? So when I got to St. Martin's and found out that they had a Circle K and it was part of the Kiwanis family, which I didn't know about, I joined the club to pay back it through service, how they were helping me with my education, and became club president. And then we went on what we called an interclub and found out that, wow, we have Circle K clubs at PLU and UPS and other schools, and got really excited about the possibility and didn't know we were quite international yet. I suppose I should have paid attention to the last word, right? Circle K International. But it got more exciting as I went to events and we were providing service in the community, and it just grew from there. So I had a chance to serve as what we called governor of the Pacific Northwest District, which includes Alaska, Yukon, BC, Washington, Oregon, part of Idaho, and part of California. And that was pretty exciting. And then I ran for Circle K International President, and I was the second female ever to be in that position. Wow. And I got to travel throughout North America and the Caribbean representing Circle K, and presented at the Kiwanis International Convention and represented the organization and loved it. I loved going to different districts and providing service, but also developing our membership and then serving at the policy level. Mm-hmm. It was all awesome skills and exposure to service around the world, and loved it.
Impressive. And now you're the president of the North Thurston chapter.
I am my second time around.
Yep.
So I just took over this position again this year. I've been a member since the day I graduated from St. Martin's. So I've been a member of the North Thurston Kiwanis Club for 30 years. Hard to say that, but I am. And just love being a part of developing our youth and connecting in the community. And we needed a president this year, and partly because we moved into a new model, and I said, if we move into that new model, a new way of being, to kind of help prepare ourselves for the next stage, I said yes to that, and so here I am.
And so locally in Lacey, you've got the key clubs, which are those the high school clubs? Yes. And so you have one of those at River Ridge, at Timberline, and at North Thurston, and then you have K Kids at the Horizon Elementary School, and of course we talked about the Circle K at St. Martin's. So those are kind of the clubs that we have in Lacey, right?
Yes.
And so they've got scholarship opportunities for students that are going to college, mm-hmm. And then the service that you do. I looked at your volunteer opportunities. You find volunteers for the Lacey Food Bank and for the Southtown Reading Foundation. Are there other volunteer opportunities for people that want to do service?
There are plenty. One of the gifts I think that we have as being a member in the community in this club is that we partner with organizations that are already doing things. So for example, Lacey Parks Culture and Recreation, we've done many things with them over the years by providing just people hours, to support their efforts. 1 or 2 weeks ago, they had their Lacey Cultural Fair, and we provided both Key Club members, again from the 3 high schools, and some of our Kiwanis members just participated just to help support their efforts, and that's what we're about. So we do that kind of work, and then we have some one-offs where we support a holiday party at Roulin, and when the Lacey postal workers have their massive food drive that second weekend in May, all of our students get involved in that, and we're sorting the food and all of that. So we like partnering with people and organizations in the community.
And we also partner with the Salvation Army and do bell ringing. The students, the Circle K students, the Kiwanis, and the Key Club kids do that several days, starting in November, going all the way up till the week before Christmas. So they do that as well.
Okay, and then one thing we haven't talked about is the Day of Champions.
The Day of Champions.
And Karen, you organized that event.
Yes.
What is the Day of Champions?
Well, the Day of Champions is a very, very special event for the challenge students within, Thurston County and beyond. I'll just give you a little bit of a history. It started out very, very small scale in 2003, and a teacher at North Thurston High School, Eric Waite, was a coach, and he noticed that his special needs students were coming and watching their brothers and sisters participate in all of these athletic events and cheering them from the sidelines, but they never got to be the ones on the field and have their families and friends cheering for them. So he decided he was going to create an event just for them. And so he coined the Day of Champions, and it started out with just a few schools in North Thurston. They invited a few from Olympia and a few from Tumwater. And I came that very first year because at that point I was a special ed director in Tumwater School District, and I wanted to see our kids participate. And from there, it just blossomed. We started adding more and more schools. So it's been consistently in operation since 2003, except for the last 2 years because of COVID. So it started out very small, ended up we were sponsoring all seven school districts in the county, plus we brought in Shelton, and 650 disabled students. And I'll tell you a little bit, just to describe how it works. They come on their buses, and when they arrive, we've got 500 volunteers, cheerleaders from all of the high schools, from all that all participate with their pom-poms, cheering for them as they get off the bus. Military, we have about 70 military members who come and volunteer, and they get off the bus, they're cheered for, they go and get their Day of Champions shirts, and then we have the Parade of Champions. The high school band is playing, Olympic music. They have their big school signs. They do a Parade of Champions around the track. And then they go through 19 different stations of highly, highly modified track and field events. For example, instead of a javelin event, we have swim noodles. We have giant inflated big balls that they get behind and they push. And it doesn't matter what ability, disability levels they are at. There are people there to support them. Everybody participates the whole day. They go through 19 stations. They get a free book from Southtown Reading Foundation. They get a free lunch. They all get medals. They all get T-shirts. So we end up with about 1,500 people on the field at North Thurston Stadium when we have these students come every year. So a product of our own success is that it got too large. It just grown too much for us to be able to logistically handle it safely. So it's expanded. So Shelton now has their group, and I said they're bringing in from Grace Harbor County those schools. Yelm has now taken the South County schools, Rochester, Tenino, and Rainier. They are running theirs, and they've brought in school districts from Lewis County and also from Pierce County. Steilacoom has their own Day of Champions. Sequim is trying to set up theirs, and we get requests from all over the state and from people who have left the state on how can we create this ourselves. So our ultimate goal is we would love to have every county in the state have their own Day of Champions. It's a day for them to shine. And I'll just say one thing, that the best feedback we ever got was from a parent who, after the Day of Champions was over and we were cleaning up, she came over and said, I just want you to know that this event is more important to our family than Christmas. And I said, we're there. We've done it. So it's just a wonderful event. It's just everyone's happy and everyone's been the cheerleaders, and we have Key Club volunteers, the military volunteers, community volunteers, of course the Kiwanis clubs all send volunteers, and it's just a huge happy community event that the kids look forward to every year. And we don't mind all the work that goes into it. It's great fun for all of us.
Yeah, so unfortunately you haven't had it in the past 2 years.
2 years.
But maybe next year, right?
Next year is going to be bigger and better and more epic than ever.
All right. And is it the Thurston County Kiwanis clubs that you handle at this point? Or?
So the North Thurston Kiwanis Club is the sponsor. And we get donations and other support from other organizations. It's all volunteer, all free, and so we fund it through donations from local small businesses, a lot of dentists, and individuals, will donate money, and so it's all, we do it small scale so we can do a big scale production for them, but it's all free and community supported.
At this point, is it just the Lacey or the North Thurston schools that are involved, or do you?
Yeah, as I said before, it evolved, and we were doing all the schools in the county plus those from Shelton and Lewis County as well. But we are now back. We call it the original three. Okay. So for next year, it'll be the big three: Tumwater, Olympia, and North Thurston. And all of the other schools that used to participate with us are now either being served through Shelton or Yelm. So they're all getting to participate, but when it's a little bit smaller scale, they get to be more involved and hands-on in all the stations. So it's a good thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I think people need to see this. And we have a video, I think it's from 2019.
2019, the last time we had at North Thurston Stadium.
The last Day of Champions. We're going to take a look at this video and see what it looks like, and then we'll come back and talk more.
Terrific.
Hi, welcome back to Mission Nonprofit. If you're just joining us, our guest is North Thurston Kiwanis Club. That looks like so much fun for the participants and the volunteers.
Exactly, and we've nicknamed it the Day of a Million Smiles, which I think is an underestimate, but everyone, the volunteers will say they think that they have more fun than the actual participants, but it's just a fun-filled, smile-laden day for everyone. We just have the best time, and it's a great event.
And it's usually in May, right? Is that the
Yes,
month
we normally have it the Thursday before Memorial Day every year.
So next year.
Next year for sure.
So Wendy, why don't you tell me a little bit about the 3-2-1 model? I saw that on your website. What does that entail?
Normal Kiwanis clubs meet weekly. And they have a particular program where, they call the meeting to order, and we have, committee reports and some fun birthday, anniversary celebrations, and there's some routine around that. And then they usually have some sort of community member to provide a program. And that is part of what we might call a normal Kiwanis experience. As the pandemic hit, and there were a couple of things that contributed to our club sort of losing that ability to meet weekly and have programs. One, the location that we met at for years, Hawks Prairie Restaurant, is no longer there. And that all happened again. We moved on to Zoom, and the club really just was reaching a place where we needed to make some different choices. We didn't have people moving forward to want to be some of the leaders in that model because of the time commitment and some of the routine around that. We thought, well, what else could we look like? Kiwanis International has a program called 3-2-1. And what that means is a club can move out of its normal, perhaps meeting weekly, and they commit to doing at least 3 hours of service a month. And that's just not, it's like at least one event where many members could come and do a couple of hours, 2 to 3 hours of service. So we called it at least 3 hours of service a month, and that's the 3. Mm-hmm. The 2 is social. There's still that social aspect, and there's this community that we create within that group, and we wanted to maintain that. And that's the 2. And then the 1 is one business meeting a month. So it really frees up this need to meet weekly and define programs. And we've got choices now in our social program. We have had some evening happy hours. We call it Kiwanis Happy Hours, or the K Happy Hour. And people from all ages have been out. We have a member who's 99, and we have a brand new member who, I would say he's in his 30s, late 30s, and we are all out having a happy hour together and really enjoying getting to know one another. But part of the social is also ways to get to know each other, and our social chair has come up with some really fun, creative ways of doing that and having some creativity around each month. We had a Valentine's, the Jeopardy, and that was, or Family Feud, that was fun. Anyway, so we create this different experience rather than perhaps some of the routine. And that's really renewed our commitment into why do we exist as a club. And that's why we actually do more than 3 hours a month. On average, our members provide at least 160 hours of service in the month. Some months we have more, some members, and that's not per member. So that's on average.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I know.
It may feel that way for some of us.
Okay.
Right. And so that number is only going to go up. We are committed to having that number go up as we get more people that want to be involved and not be tied to meetings, but have opportunities to either do some of the club-sponsored service projects or do some of their own service projects. So it's really an invitation that each member do at least 3 hours or more a month. And I think that we're getting there, and that's kind of nice. Mm-hmm. And we've been having fun with the social part. I mean, the thing that people are drawn to organizations like this is because it serves a need to the human need we have, right, to be in connection with others. And we are creating and forging new ways of doing that.
I should mention your website at this point. It's norththurston.portalbuzz.com, right? And,
yes.
And that's where people can go and they can maybe learn about volunteer. You have a calendar on there.
We do.
They could learn about what's coming up, and then they could maybe join officially through there, right? Or donate. What other things can you find on the website?
You'll learn a little bit there's the About section. If you just kind of go into that one space that usually exists on most websites, right? They tell you a little bit about us, and people can learn about what kinds of activities we're a part of, and they will see the calendar, and so they can see what's scheduled. What they will also see is just at a higher level, they'll see different groups that we sponsor, which is our 5 youth clubs. They will see some of our signature projects like the Day of Champions, but another one that we haven't mentioned is our focus on literacy and our partnership with the South Sound Reading Foundation and the work that we do and volunteer there each month. And we support, how many? It's 15 little free libraries around predominantly the North Thurston Public Schools. I think 13 are there. And then we have one in the Lacey Veterans Service Hub and the Lacey Boys and Girls Club. And so what that means is that little library that's outside, we make sure that it's stocked and the books are taken care of, and we have volunteers that go and pick it up from the South Sound Reading Foundation and take it there. So if you go on the website, you'll see some of these, what we might call our signature projects, and there's a contact information about how they can get in touch with us, and we welcome people to come to any of these events. Join us for service. They can join us at a social event. We would like them to be a part of all of that.
And the youth clubs, I'd imagine, like, in school, they learn about these opportunities, in the after school.
The focus of the youth groups is on community service and leadership. So it's a two-pronged focus. And we're really fortunate that 2 years ago, we sponsored the elementary K-Kids Club at Horizons Elementary, and that is the only elementary K-Kids Club in our region. So we just kind of went out there in the middle of the pandemic and the bill that they will come. The first year we had about 28 students in 4th and 5th grade who they were just really anxious to do community service and leadership. And as we go through the year, they take over running their meetings, deciding what the service projects are going to be, and engaging their fellow students. They make sure that everything is school-wide. And so it's been a really positive experience to start this new elementary club. And then hopefully they will stay within the Kiwanis Club as they go all the way through high school, college, and into adulthood. But that's been really exciting to be able to offer the elementary club because we've never had one before.
Yeah.
And none of the other surrounding Kiwanis clubs have either.
Yeah.
So it's kind of unique.
That's pretty early on. Those kids are small, and it's not even middle school. It's elementary.
Yep.
So
they take right over. And
that's cool.
Yeah, they're always looking for things that they can do, and they'll double up and do 2 service projects if they can instead of 1. They're a wonderful group of students.
And what do people in the St. Martin's Club do? You were in that.
They're a highly decorated group.
They are. They actually have been very busy over the years. Right now, their faculty advisor is part of the International Students program within the university. So they're drawing from a rich bank of diversity of students that are participating, and they do some work on campus whenever there's need for again, when you just need extra people hours to help you do some things. They sponsored trips out to the ocean in the past where they've done beach cleanup, and that has been quite fun. And so they make a day of it. So St. Martin's Circle K has been very active on campus and in the community and really outside the community for quite a while. And they have been recognized in the district around that. And when we say district, we're talking all of Pacific Northwest, from Alaska to the northern part of California, and they've won some impressive awards for their work in the community, mostly the service.
Yeah, it sounded like to me that they get more involved with the international program. Is that accurate? Because you went, on to be the president of the international. So.
I think the thing about we have such a diverse base of students that are part of Key Club that are attracted to the service. And I think there's about 250,000 students that are part of Key Club International. And we draw a lot. When they get into college, there's a lot less students that make the choice. When you get to college, you're focusing on school and you're focusing on learning a little bit more about yourself. So the students that actually choose to be members of Circle K are much more intentional about being of service, and they draw from people all over, and I think that that's pretty special.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we're running out of time, but I want to give each of you a chance to just mention anything we didn't talk about or some last thoughts. So Let's start with you, Carrie.
Well, my thought is I'm just really proud to be a member of the North Thurston Kiwanis group for all that they do. We are a very relatively small group. There's 34 members, but we leave an incredible footprint and impression in the community, and it's on every level. I mean, from giving out medals to the Lacey Parks and Rec T-ball kids every year, to Day of Champions, to filling up those little free library books and being out there for the food bank and Roulan and doing the bell ringing at Christmas. And it's just a wonderful group of people doing great things in the community. And could I just leave one quote, my favorite quote about.
Sure, yeah, of course.
It's a Coretta Scott King quote. And it's like, the greatness of a community is most accurately measured by the compassionate action of its members. And I think that encapsulates what we're about and what we try to do and what we try to influence among the students that we work with. So, and thank you.
Oh yeah, thanks. Okay, and Wendy, do you have any final thoughts?
Underscore what Karen just said, absolutely. And I just want people to know that we are open to new people. We're anxious to get, in this new model, it really opens up opportunities for whole family systems to be involved. There's not as much time commitment, and they can make more choices about bringing their little ones along or the high school students and maybe earn service hours that they need for graduation. So there's a lot of opportunity for people, and I look forward to more people wanting to be a part of this. I know that we're not the only set of folks that want to do good work in the community. There's lots of others that maybe are looking for an organization like this, and please let us know.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's all we have for you today. Please visit their website at norththurstonkiwanis.portalbuzz.com. You can also find them on Facebook at North Thurston Kiwanis. See you next time.
Support for Mission Nonprofit is provided by Thurston Talk.
This program is provided in the public interest by Thurston Community Media. More information at TCMedia.org.